Hey, you there? Yeah, you with the headphones on trying to escape the chaos or just killing time. This isn't some Oscar-worthy video or a pitch to sell you a magical course. It's here to shake you up, hit you with raw reality, and show you how to find something called peace in a world that seems to take pleasure in driving you insane. So, relax or not. Pause for a few minutes and pay attention. The world owes you nothing, and that's exactly why you're going to love this truth. The big lie. The world doesn't revolve around you. Some people wake up acting like the universe owes them an apology for everything that's gone wrong in life. Coffee went cold? Damn fate. Boss snapped at you? Bad karma. Someone cut you off in traffic? The universe is conspiring against me. But let me tell you a secret. And this is where the Stoics laugh while the rest of the world panics. The world doesn't give a damn about you. And guess what? That's liberating. Stoicism starts with a hard, unsweetened truth. Life is wild, chaotic, unfair, and random. There's no instruction manual, no YouTube tutorial, no productivity course that's going to change that. The Stoics knew this over 2,000 years ago. While people were busy trying to control the uncontrollable, they focused on what really mattered, themselves. Seneca, one of the Stoic masters, said it best. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Translation? Stop making excuses. The problem isn't the world. It's how you react to it. What did you expect? That life would be like a butter commercial? The trick is to stop playing the cosmic victim in a badly written script. No one promised things would be easy. No one owes you a happy ending. And yes, crap will happen, a lot, back to back, without warning. And that's okay. Living in peace doesn't mean creating a cocoon of toxic positivity where nothing touches you. It means standing in the middle of the chaos, looking at the storm and saying, all right, let's do this. It's knowing that losing your job, being betrayed, messing up badly, and hitting rock bottom is part of the basic human experience. It's not bad luck. It's Tuesday. Accepting this isn't giving up. It's freedom. Because as long as you were trapped in the illusion that the world needs to align with your expectations, you'll live frustrated, anxious, and angry at everything. But when you realize the world will keep being what it is, unpredictable, unfair, and often ridiculous, you stop fighting against it and start fighting for yourself. So yes, the world will slap you in the face, spit on you once in a while. But the game changes when you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do with this right now? Stoicism in one sentence. Wake up, no one's coming to save you. And that's awesome. Mastering reality. Control the uncontrollable. Have you ever tried to control traffic, like mentally? Sitting in the car, fuming, yelling, cursing the guy in front of you, thinking he might magically speed up through your telepathic rage? News flash. He didn't, and all you got was an emotional ulcer for your trouble. Welcome to the second Stoic commandment. Learn to separate what's under your control and what isn't. Sounds simple, but this is where 90% of humanity's meltdowns begin. People live in a loop of desperate attempts to manipulate the uncontrollable, the weather, other people's opinions, time, luck, the Instagram algorithm, and then they wonder why they're anxious, exhausted, and taking it out on pizza and cheap wine. Epictetus, one of the most no-nonsense Stoics, laid it out plain. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. Period. End of story. No footnotes, no fine print. And what is under your control? Very little. Your thoughts, your actions, your reactions. The rest? Tough luck. Accept it and move on. But then come the, but I like to plan, folks. Cool plan. Just don't cling to your plan like it's a winning lottery ticket. You can plan a year-long trip, and your flight might get canceled because a llama crossed the runway in Peru. Life doesn't care about your plans. It happens the way it wants, not how you'd like it to. A true Stoic is a master of adaptation. He doesn't lose it when reality veers off script. He rewrites the script. because he knows that complaining about what can how be changed is like banging your head against a wall, hoping the wall feels pain. Spoiler, it doesn't. You're the one left with a bump on your forehead. So here's the hardcore Stoic challenge. Next time something goes wrong, and it will, respond with one question. Is this under my control? If yes, roll up your sleeves. If not, move on. You don't control the bank line, but you control your patience. You don't control what the jerk said, but you control how or whether you respond. You don't control the storm, but you control whether you stay soaked and rant on Twitter. That peace, that elusive Stoic peace, doesn't come from the world adjusting to your ego. It comes from you stopping the fight against reality and using what it gives you instead. Acceptance isn't surrender. It's strategy. And knowing where you have power and where you don't makes you a dangerous human being. Because while everyone's trying to change the wind, you're adjusting the sail. Problem or soap opera? The art of not making drama. Let's be honest, some people don't live, they perform. Every day is another episode of a never-ending soap opera called Life is So Unfair, starring you, your exaggerated feelings, and a soundtrack of heartbreak ballads playing in the background. Stoic spoiler alert, not everything is a problem. Sometimes you're just acting. Stoicism has a deep, visceral hatred for this constant self-victimization. There is a difference between a real problem, like losing someone, facing illness, or dealing with unemployment, and turning a slow Wi-Fi connection or a comment on Instagram into an existential crisis. Seriously, some people act like they've been stabbed in the back because the waiter forgot the mayonnaise. Know what the Stoics used to say? It's not the events that disturb us, but how we interpret them. That's from Epictetus, the chill Stoic with a short temper. And what he meant was this: the world happens. You choose whether to deal with it or give a dramatic 40-minute monologue to the invisible audience inside your head. It's like this: someone breaks up with you. Reality, they didn't want to continue the relationship. Soap opera version: I'm garbage. No one will ever love me. I'm doomed to eternal loneliness. Calm down, Romeo. Maybe they just weren't into it. It sucks, sure. But it's not the end of the world, man. It's just another Tuesday. Stoicism helps you slice through all that emotional noise and get to the point. Is this really a problem? Or just uncomfortable? Because there's a huge difference between suffering and insisting on suffering. One is human, the other is a choice. That doesn't mean you need to turn into a cold, emotionless statue, but it does mean stop handing out Oscars to feelings that just needed a deep breath and a glass of water. Being stoic doesn't mean not feeling. It means feeling with responsibility. It means not letting one frustration become a full-blown emotional tsunami that wipes out your entire day. Example: your boss gives you harsh feedback. Default response: he hates me, I'm getting fired, I'm a failure. Stoic response: okay, that hurt. What can I learn from it? Is there something I can improve? Or maybe it's just his opinion and I can move on. See the difference? Our mind loves drama because it brings meaning to chaos. But the Stoic looks at that chaos and asks, will this matter in 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 years? If the answer is no, then why the hell are you making it the main plotline of your life? Anger, the poison. You drink. Anger belongs to you. But you're the one who always pays the price. It comes in like a rocket and leaves behind destruction. And usually, an emotional invoice with your name on it. Someone cuts you off in traffic. You curse out his whole family. Your partner says something wrong. You're ready to smash plates, or at least the mood. But in the end, guess who gets burned? You, always you. Stoicism sees anger as a poison you drink, hoping the other person will die. But truth is, you just die faster. Of gastritis, guilt, or regret. Seneca, the philosopher who felt like he was trained in a real-life WhatsApp group, wrote an entire book on anger. Why? Because he understood something most people still don't. Anger is one of the dumbest emotions we have. It promises power but delivers recklessness. It promises justice but gives you emotional revenge. It promises relief but leaves you with shame and interest. Now, I'm not saying you should turn into some emotionless robot who accepts everything with a creepy smile. The point isn't to swallow frogs and pretend they taste like sushi. The question is, what will you do with your anger? Will you let it drive the car? Or will you buckle it in the back seat where it can't touch the wheel? A Stoic does feel anger. Of course he does, but he doesn't act on it while he's hot. He waits, breathes, thinks, because he knows. Any decision made mid-tantrum has a 99% chance of being a disaster. Ever typed that angry email but didn't hit send? That's more Stoic than you think. Example, your boss yells at you in front of everyone. You want to throw your monitor at his face and scream, "Screw this job." But the Stoic in you stops and thinks, is this in my control? What do I gain by lashing out? How can I handle this with dignity? And instead of becoming the office psycho, you breathe, respond calmly, and solve the issue with strategy. You didn't stop feeling. You just stopped being enslaved by what you felt. That's the Stoic secret. You can be a furnace on the inside and an iceberg on the outside. That's not fake. That's sharp emotional intelligence. It's knowing that the first to explode usually loses. And that being right means nothing if you lose control in the process. Anger, when poorly managed, is a horrible investment. It costs a lot, and the return is usually a headache or a lawsuit. So next time anger starts to boil like lava, think like a Stoic. Is this worth my peace or just my ego screaming? And, spoiler, it's almost always the ego, and the ego is a terrible advisor. Death, life's greatest teacher. Yes, you're going to die. I'm going to die. We all are. It doesn't matter how many detox juices you drink, how many meditation apps you use, or how many times you say gratitude in a day. In the end, we're all turning to dust, worm food, or ashes tossed somewhere symbolic while sad music plays in the background. For most people, that's a huge taboo. Just thinking about death already triggers existential panic, a chill down the spine, and the instant urge to change the subject. But for the Stoics, it was a daily reminder of how to truly live. They called it memento mori, which literally means, remember you will die. Sounds morbid? That's because you're still seeing death as the villain. Stoics saw it as the teacher. In their view, death is the ultimate antidote to procrastination, arrogance, and oversensitivity. Because once you fully accept that your time is limited, you stop wasting it on nonsense. Dumb arguments? For what? Hurt pride? Big deal. Grand plans for a perfect future? What if it never even comes? Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, yes, the guy ruled Rome and still made time to write about how to be a decent human being, once wrote in his journal, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you think, say, and do." Meaning, if today were your last day, is this how you choose to act? Would you really spend the afternoon doom-scrolling or replying to long fights on WhatsApp? Stoicism doesn't tell you to live like tomorrow is a zombie apocalypse, but it does force you to look in the mirror and ask, am I living intentionally or just surviving on autopilot? Are you postponing life, waiting for the right time? Guess what? There is no right time. There's just now, and it could be the last now you get. That changes everything. It changes how you work, how you love, how you forgive, how you respond to others. Because death, instead of being a threat, becomes a compass. It reminds you to value your time, your moments, and even your problems, because they're all part of life. And while you're still breathing, you're still in the game. So yes, you're going to die, and that's great. Because while that day hasn't come, you still have a chance to live like someone who knows they're just passing through. More action, less delay, more presence, fewer empty promises, more truth, less drama. Remember death, and live the hell out of life with courage. Less reaction, more choice. Don't be a reactive meatbag. You've seen those people who always seem like they're about to blow up. Everything irritates them. Everything affects them. Everything is a trigger. It is like they're reliving one breath away from a meltdown because the world dared to ignore their personal script. And that's where the most precise Stoic advice of all time comes in. Stop reacting like a walking bag of reactivity. Yeah, I get it. It's tempting. The phone buzzes, you respond without thinking. Someone pokes you, you snap back. Something doesn't go your way? Boom. Internal crisis. You become a puppet on strings, and the strings are your unchecked emotions. The result? You're not living. You're reacting all the time, like a fire alarm that goes off at the slightest spark. The Stoics were masters of self-control, but not the stiff, suppress-it-all kind. They knew humans feel things, but they also knew that feeling is not the same as obeying. You can feel angry, sad, frustrated. Just don't act like a cornered animal every time it happens. The difference between a Stoic and a meltdown machine is simple. The Stoic thinks before reacting. They insert a pause between stimulus and response, and it's in that pause that freedom lives. That os, where you decide if you're going to follow the automatic flow of your wounded ego, or if you'll choose something smarter, more useful, more worthy of someone who's supposedly grown out of emotional adolescence. And don't confuse that with passivity. Being Stoic doesn't mean becoming a doormat. It's the opposite. It means having enough clarity to pick your battles, your tone, your posture. It's about having self-command when the world wants to drag you by the hair into chaos. Want a real example? Someone criticizes you. You could lash out, start drama, fuel the fire, or you could breathe, analyze, and decide if that critique makes sense and respond with reason. Which sounds stronger to you? Which sounds more mature? Exactly. Being reactive is easy, requires zero skill. Any loudmouth on Twitter can do it, but staying strategically calm in a world that rewards tantrums? That's the hard part. That's where real power lies. The Stoics called it ataraxia, an unshakable mind that doesn't get tossed around by waves of emotion like a paper boat. It is not that the sea is calm. It is that you be learned how to sail. So next time your blood boils, remember, you don't have to react. You can choose to respond. And in the end, that's what separates emotional adults from the inner brats just waiting to throw a fit. Peace. It's not about being happy. It's about being whole. Here's one of the biggest traps of our generation, the obligation to be happy all the time. Happiness has become a product with an expiration date, a life goal shoved down our throats. Follow your dreams, do what you love, think positive. And if none of that works, it's your fault, of course. You're the one not trying hard enough, not meditating properly, not reading the right books, not putting in the effort to be happy like the rest of your feed. But the Stoics didn't give a damn about that. They weren't concerned with being happy. Their focus was different, to be whole, to be complete, to live in alignment with their values, to be at peace with who you are, even when the world is collapsing, outside or inside. Happiness for them was a side effect, not the goal. It was something that showed up from time to time, a bonus. What really matters is living well, in the rawest and most honest sense of the word, with clarity, courage, and consistency. Not like an Instagram character trying to convince the world you're living your best life, but like someone who does what needs to be done, no matter who's watching, even if it hurts. The Stoic life isn't colorful, it's real. Sometimes it hurts, sometimes it's confusing, sometimes it makes no sense at all. But still, you move forward. You play your part, you get to know yourself better, you make mistakes with dignity and succeed with less ego. You swap the frantic search for happiness for a solid build of virtue, character, and presence. That, my friend, is what lets you sleep with a clear conscience. And that, in the end, is true happiness. A practical example. You have a job that's not the dream of your life, but you do it well, treat people with respect, pay your bills, and still find time to care for your mind and body. You're not jumping with joy every day, but you're at peace with your integrity. That's worth 1,000 times more than forced smiles or catchphrases copied from LinkedIn gurus. The big Stoic insight is this: you don't have to be happy right now to be on the right path. path. You can be tired, sad, frustrated, and still be living well. Life isn't an amusement park, it's a training ground, and you don't need to be laughing all the time to know you are becoming someone better. So, forget this hysterical hunt for happiness. Focus on being whole. Focus on being someone who doesn't sell out, who doesn't get lost, who holds steady even when everything is falling apart. Because when you're whole, happiness doesn't need to be chased. It shows up quietly in the corner of your soul. And that's when you've truly lived like a Stoic. Conclusion? Wait 30, 10 on. Life is already tough enough. It doesn't need your active collaboration to get worse. When in doubt, less overthinking, more action, less drama, more Stoicism. Peace of mind isn't sold on Amazon. Some people think peace of mind is like a luxury item. Just stack up some paid bills, a trip to Bali, a lo-fi playlist, and boom, you're a monk in airplane mode. Except, no. If that were true, you could just pay in 12 installments and be enlightened. But peace of mind doesn't come in a box with free shipping. It comes from a much less glamorous place, self-responsibility and conscious discomfort. Stoicism doesn't sell illusions. No magic mantra, no crystal, no secret formula. You know what it offers? A punch of reality and a mirror. Because here's the truth. If you are waiting for the world to be perfect so you can be at peace, you'll die stressed. The Stoic understands that peace of mind isn't the absence of problems. It's the absence of internal disturbance in the face of those problems. And that, my friend, only comes with practice. Lots of it. Think of it like mental weight training. Just like no one gets a six-pack from watching gym videos on TikTok, you don't reach serenity by reading motivational quotes on Instagram. Peace of mind starts when you stop reacting like a wild animal to every external stimulus. When someone snaps at you and you don't snap back. When plans change and you don't freak out. When life hits you right in the chest and you respond with, "All right, now what?" This peace doesn't come from outside. It comes from what you train inside. It comes from knowing who you are, what you control, what you tolerate, and what you simply ignore. And more importantly, from knowing that the world will never cooperate with your peace. So the best thing you can do is stop depending on it. Example, you might live in a quiet place, incense in the air, nature sounds playing, but if your mind is chaos, even birds chirping will drive you crazy. On the other hand, you could be stuck in traffic with honking all around and still stay focused, calm, and breathing, if you know what matters and what's just noise. Stoic peace of mind is this: silencing the inner noise even when the outer world is a mess. It's not ignoring the world, it's not becoming a slave to it. And finally, here's the most honest truth you'll hear today: the peace you're looking for won't come from outside, because it was never out there. It begins the moment you stop looking for someone to blame, stop romanticizing suffering, and start living like an emotional adult, responsible, clear-headed, and above all, free. If you watched the video this far, come on, you've got to subscribe, right? This took work to make. Hit the like button and subscribe. See you next time, and remember, peace is your choice.